Well, we're here with Jimmy Kimmel from Jimmy Kimmel Live on ABC every night. And Jimmy, first question I wanted to ask you was this variety series category at the Emmys. It's just dominated by the same 5 shows every single year. What's it going to take to break through?
I guess retirement on their part, because we're certainly not getting any better. Maybe I think this interview between the 3 of us is going to be what does it.
Yeah, there has to be something done about it because that category has been locked for so many years, and it's kind of getting a bit boring, and we're hoping that we might get some new blood. So have you got any special episodes that you submitted to maybe kind of persuade the Emmy voters that you guys deserve a chance?
We did. We submitted our special post-Academy Award show this year. But with that said, we submit whatever we think is the most special thing every year. It never seems to make any difference. I think I will always be the lout from the Man Show. And you know what? You make your bed, you have to sleep in it.
Well, that Academy Awards show every year, it's getting more and more buzz. How do you top yourself from year to year? Because you've had the big viral videos. You've had the Handsome Men's Club last year. What goes through your staff's minds to try to top yourself?
Well, I don't know that much goes through their minds, but I lay awake thinking about it at night because that's the curse of doing. You make a video that everybody really likes. So we did the Matt Damon video, and then we did the Ben Affleck video, and you want to continue to kind of up the ante and have each video be more popular, more beloved, or whatever you want, however you want to describe it. But the fact of the matter is some are going to be more popular than others. Some are going to be better than others. And you just have to keep making them and hope. Sometimes weird things happen. Like I think the video that has the most hits ever, I think it has like 40 million or 80 million, some ridiculous number of hits, is Justin Bieber and this little girl. We had Justin Bieber come and meet this little girl who made a video crying about how much she loved him. And, you know, that took about, 8 minutes of work, whereas some of these things take months of planning and writing and booking guests and convincing publicists to do this stuff. And then some little thing like that really just takes off. And it's annoying, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you know, those videos about Matt Damon and Ben Affleck that were done with Sarah Silverman, did you ever expect them to take off what they did? I mean, one of them even won an Emmy, and it's pretty amazing.
Well, I think the first one, I didn't even know the first one. They made that, a couple of our writers and Sarah made that together as a surprise for me for my birthday. And when I saw, the audience reaction to that, you knew it was going to be a huge hit instantly. But it did take on a life of its own. It did put a lot of pressure on me to come up with some kind of response that would top it, and that's when we basically booked the We Are the World style group of celebrities to come in and sing this very stupid song. But the second video would not have been possible without the first video. And no, I didn't expect it to be that popular, and I never really have kind of that expectation on things, unless of course Justin Bieber is involved.
Yeah.
Well, this year, in that same category, that original song category, I think you've entered yourself and Kanye West and Josh Groban together on the song that you did. Tell us more about that one.
Well, this is a song that we put Kanye West's tweets together on one page, and they are just as ridiculous on one page as they are one by one when you read them on Twitter. So we asked Josh Groban, who we've done some stuff with before, if he would set it to music and sing it. And so we wrote them and kind of made them into a song, made everything kind of rhyme and go together. But Kanye really he was an unwitting participant in this. And I'm not sure that he knows he's even nominated. Not nominated, but that he's eligible for nomination. It will be a surprise to him, I'm sure. And if we lose, I'm sure he'll be furious.
That's true. Listen, Emmy, you're not really a stranger to the Emmys. You've won a daytime Emmys for Win Ben Stone's Money way back in the 90s. What was that like, winning an award like that and going up on stage and accepting it?
That was very, very surprising to us. We didn't know. In fact, that season, I think most of our audience was a paid audience. So they'd have to go out on the street and pay people in pizza or whatever. So the audience was primarily composed of crackheads and methadone addicts. And the idea that people were watching our show, not that many people would recognize me from the show in those days. And when we got nominated for an Emmy alongside Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and these real game shows, as I look at them, we were very surprised. And when we won, we were completely surprised. I mean, we did not expect to win. And in fact, I think I was wearing a rental tuxedo. I was like, wow, this is great. We get a free trip to New York. And that, I thought, would be the extent of it.
Well, speaking of the Emmys, back in 2008, several of us were upset, and I wanted to ask you about this. The Emmys rotate from network to network each year, and in 2008 it went to ABC, and we honestly thought there was no better choice to host the Emmys on ABC that year than you. Were you upset that you weren't chosen?
Well, you were wrong. There was a better choice. All the reality hosts.
Well, you got your revenge on them that night, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if it's low self-esteem, but I didn't feel like I was entitled to host the Emmys. I mean, I really didn't until I saw the choice they made, because, and besides the way, all those people are fine, and nothing against them, but only one of them had any tie to ABC, and usually networks will take that opportunity to promote their own talent. So, yeah, I wasn't excited. I wasn't thrilled about it, let's put it that way. But I did play a part, and I did get to actually torment all the reality hosts by presenting them with their award and making them wait for a commercial break while before the winner was announced. So that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's back on ABC next year, so make sure that you start laying the groundwork right now to be the host next year.
You're right. I'm going to write this down right now. You mother. Well, hopefully I will. Well, if I'm not, don't be surprised.
So, over the years, Jimmy, do you think the show has improved in any certain ways? Like, are there certain things that you guys do that are more like a well-oiled machine compared to when you first started on the show?
Definitely. When you start, you have nothing. You have no regular bits. I mean, if you think about, like, Letterman, has the top 10 list that they do every night, and that's something that they came up with, and it worked very well for them, and they just kind of refill it. And when you start out, you have no refillable material. You have no personalities on the show other than yourself. I started with my Uncle Frank as our security guard, and we kind of slowly eased him into the show, and that worked out well. And then we found another security guard, Guillermo, out in our parking lot, who's become kind of my sidekick. And the amount of mileage we get out of those things, unnecessary censorship is something we do every week, where we bleep clips from the news that don't necessarily need to be bleeped. And those are the things that I take for granted now, because I know, like, every Thursday night I have a very solid piece to end my monologue. But before that, you're really kind of just scrambling, and it's nice to have those things that you can go to and that are clearly yours, and that other shows really would have a hard time doing any version of those bits because there's signature to your show. You can't, I couldn't get away with doing a top 11 list if I wanted to, because everyone would say, well, you're stealing that, and I would be stealing it. So it's nice to have things that other people can't steal.
Well, one thing you've added in recent years is the live bands outside on occasion. How do you like that as part of the show?
Honestly, that was at our very first show. We had a live band outside. We had Coldplay outside, and we closed down Hollywood Boulevard. But for us, it's a great thing. It's a great advantage because if you've ever been to a talk show, you know that the environment in general is very sterile, especially for a rock band. I mean, you get a rock band into the Tonight Show, and they look out in the audience, and it's like a bingo hall. It's not exactly conducive to rocking. So us putting them outside on our outdoor stage is something that the bands love, and because of that, they like coming back. And it's great for the fans, too, because we can get a couple of thousand people who are genuinely excited about seeing a musician packed into our parking lot, whereas, if you're going to another show, you're kind of like, you're lucky if you like the band. It's a coincidence.
Every once in a while, do you get guests on your show that you're actually a huge fan of and that you actually really have to control yourself from being a big fanboy? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, it happens frequently. There's some people that for me, like Albert Brooks was on the show recently, and I love Albert Brooks, and I wrote him a note asking him to be on the show. I don't know, he doesn't know anything about me or my show, or and for him probably he's like, well, I'll go to Letterman, and maybe I'll do Conan. These are people that I've heard of and that I know have the credentials that I require, and then I feel like I have to kind of prove myself to that person, and not prove myself in a way where like I'll show him I'm funny, but you can't be too big a fan because you don't want. I mean, there's got to be something for the audience. The show is not for you; it's for the audience. But you also want to give that person an opportunity to be funny and hopefully not come off like an idiot. And that's my goal going into those kinds of things. Those are the interviews that I get nervous about, because the worst thing for me would be somebody that I really admire leaving the show going, well, that clown isn't going to be around long. And that happened to us a lot in the early days.
Well, listen, we really appreciate your time today. Maybe you can knock off Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert or Conan or Bill Maher or one of those guys and take that slot this year.
Well, you know what? I eliminated Oprah, and so that was my job number one, and we'll go from there.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks, fellas.